Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Scrobe. I am the owner and operator of Dallas Design Sprints, and this is an introduction to the Global Virtual Design Sprint. If you've never heard about it before or have heard it through rumors in the bushes about what it's all about, for the next 30 minutes, I'll be explaining who I am, what this is, why you should be interested, and what it's ultimately for. I produced something in Mural to show everyone and to present here today. If you have any questions for me at any point, you can do it two ways. You can either put those into the Zoom chat and just basically say them as they come, or you can go into the Q&A for Zoom and put them in there. You can also catch up to this on YouTube. We're going to be recording this live right now so that other people can watch it on their own time. So if you have other things to do on your Monday, feel free to go do those at any point, and then you can catch up with me later on. But in the meantime, for those of you who are here and kind of paying attention and are, watching me kind of be a talking head for at least the first part of it, you can go ahead and tell me where you're from or where you're coming in from, and then give me a good idea of what kind of where the geographical distribution of everyone is. I see Lucky's here, so I know Lucky. Kaylee, I don't know, I haven't met you before, but if you'd like to, you can put in where you are, and that'll be a good introduction. Again, at any point, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat, but I'll get right into it so that there is no delay. For reference, if you want to go ahead and follow on your own, I'm going to be putting in a link into both YouTube as well as Zoom here. And this will give you an idea of, you can actually go through the presentation at your own pace. You don't have to necessarily wait for me to kind of go through all this. You can basically check out the mural and kind of look at all the information that you need to. So hi, Kaylee from Pittsburgh. Thank you for putting it in your city and state when I asked you to. I called you out on this, but yeah, no worries. Let's get this thing started. I'll go ahead and share my screen as well so that you'll be able to see what I'm seeing on my end. Just give me one moment, I'll make that happen. Although I'm trying to make sure that I'm chasing the right screen rather than this YouTube stream, because nobody really is much interested in that at this point. Okay, let's get this going. Right, so let's go here. So the Global Virtual Design Sprint was originally created for a lot of us who had come from places like masterclasses, where we essentially were looking to practice design sprints, but maybe didn't have an outlet for that. So maybe you were trying to introduce it at your workplace as a UX director. And this is back in 2018. So this is right around the time that the Blue Book came out by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, that agencies were using it a lot. There was a lot of buzz around being able to do a lot of things in a short period of time. But the thing is that, and Jake primarily promoted this, is that design sprints were meant to be all in person. Like the idea of doing them remotely or for doing them virtually didn't really appeal to the original authors. So I was the lone voice that was kind of saying, well, it's kind of going there. It's just a matter of technology and resources. So when I saw a lot of people getting masterclass certifications from Design Sprint Academy and AJ and Smart, I thought, well, let's experiment and see what this is going to be like. So in November, we basically decided I proposed that we do one design sprint virtually online for a charity of some type and just see what happens. And word got around what we were doing, and instead of one team, we ended up with 6. And we had about 6 different prototypes that we were testing, not only with targeted users that they were intended for, but also with people outside of the event that were interested in what we were doing. So in fact, I believe it was one person that was from IBM took what they had done, showed it to someone, they kind of rejiggered it a bit and recast it. And then a year later, I don't remember the award ceremony that happened in Europe, but it was their work was given an award based on their original GVDS work. I'm keeping everything anonymous, but trust me, it did happen. But if you want references, I'll give them. But the point is that we were trying to figure out a way to do this virtually, and this was the outlet to do so. And it morphed to basically become something where we look at it as a platform to become the best professional version of yourself. So meaning that you get the chance to show to other people what you're really good at. marketing, design, development, advising, coaching, something that basically defines your professional kind of apparatus, something that defines who you are professionally. And you work in small teams to basically work out a particular challenge. And at the end of it, you have something tangible that you can show other people and that you can showcase to the general public. Now, the Global Virtual Design Sprint historically has kind of fallen with these 6 types of folks. Primarily in the beginning, it was facilitators who were looking to basically facilitate online. It really came to a head this year or last year with the pandemic in April, where all of a sudden in-person facilitators found themselves without a lot of work and needing some sort of revenue to come in, as well as the lack of experience they had virtually. So there was this influx of people that wanted to try this out and really do it well and learn the nuances of how to do virtual facilitation. Designers also were flocking to this event because they wanted to showcase who they were, their mobile development, their mobile design. They essentially wanted to, showcase beyond what they were doing in social media and their portfolio, who they are and what they were all about to like a smaller audience, but somebody who they could network with and seek out new opportunities. Researchers were also someone that early on and still is today, where it's a really good starting point for the GVDS, where they can explore the user base, really give a foundation for the team to understand the problem space. So those 3 groups tend to be always in these types of events. The rest of them just depend on the season and the types of challenges we take on. Entrepreneurs is a new one because we started doing more prototyping or experimenting with products and services in the marketplace to see what their appeal is. And for this one that's coming up in April, there's going to be more of an emphasis on that, where we're going to be exploring products and services much more robustly than we have in the past. Now, in terms of what you would get from participating in this type of event, this is taken from a lot of the feedback that I've gotten from people that have been part of this, and also my own observations. The biggest takeaway from this is the very last one, where you have an unbelievable amount of networking opportunities. There is not only the event itself, but we've started a community of practice last December, where people from this event can come together and learn offline about new tools, new approaches, basically keep their finger on the zeitgeist, so to speak, of what's going on in this space. The second thing that people really appreciate is being with the team of professionals and practitioners who have differentiating skills from their own, and they're from different geographies, but give them immense perspective on how to kind of approach work, how to do work, and how to come together for a common cause. And finally, the one thing I've seen over and over again is the learn by doing approach, which is vastly different from information theater, vastly different from basically reading articles, watching videos. It literally is taking what you've gotten from some sort of certification process or some sort of conceptual process that you've had previously about design sprinting, prototyping, designing anything in that spectrum, and being able to actually apply it in a space where you can showcase the actual physical work that's being done. So in terms of what's new for GVDS 6, the biggest one that we're going to be kind of emphasizing is the official challenges from real organizations. In past events, the previous 5 events, we've done variations on this. We've had sponsors for challenges. We've taken up the United Nations initiatives, and then teams have kind of elected what they were going to do. For some, we've even tried incorporating corporations into the mix and also organizations, but none of them have really kind of evolved into something where it kept on going beyond the event. And that's what a lot of people that get involved with this want to do. They want to keep going on their projects. They kind of, I would say they're invested in what they kind of like outline and what they look for. This time around, we're going to be taking official challenges, meaning that some of them have cash offerings, some of them are just initiatives, but they're very detailed. They have abstracts, they have specifics that they're looking for. And so beyond teams choosing their own challenges, we're going to have a set that have due dates around May, June timeframe, where teams are actually going to be bidding their work against others in the same space to showcase their approach to a novel solution to something that could have real impact. That was what Jason Rood, somebody who's been part of this event, has called the skeleton key for this event, is that basically taking all the effort that these teams have and applying it to something that can make a difference in the real world, and really being able to kind of hone that. So that's going to be the big thing that's going to be coming up in April. In last October for GVDS 5, we practiced prototyping, and we were experimenting with how that would work with design sprints and design thinking. And I'll be the first to admit that I didn't execute that very well, though teams did learn a lot, and we did learn how prototyping kind of fits into how design sprints could work, or the mesh between the two. I also learned that the concept of prototyping needs a lot of teaching. It's not something that people can really grasp onto. And when I say prototype, it's a way of testing your idea in the market before you put any kind of effort into it. So it actually predates the design sprint. It comes from Alberto Savoia. He's a innovator emeritus at Google. He has a book called The Right It that all this is based off of. And since this past October, we've done a number of tests on the method, and we're bringing it back, but we're making it part of the early conceptual exploration of a challenge before a team goes into a design sprint. It will be optional, but the idea is that before you do a full design sprint on something, or even a hybrid design sprint, you're going to know that does what you're thinking about as an idea have any traction in the market whatsoever, and where does it have traction? And I think those types of skills are really important for designers, facilitators, program managers to really understand and know, beyond just thinking that based on the opinions of others that they're going in the right direction. This actually goes after real data that would speak and give rationalization to a particular approach. Another big change is that in the past, I would say I have really relied on moderators and facilitators to guide teams. And sometimes that was a little unfair for people that were first doing design sprints and wanted experience, but needed someone senior when they didn't have that. This time around, we're going to be bumping up what we did in GVDS 5 with videos and written word, and basically go through everything that they need to know. So there's talking about in-template videos, before and after examples, literally like guides that write out what you're supposed to say at certain points. So these could be standalone modules that you can use within the construct of a upcoming virtual design sprint that you may do on your own. And then finally, we're going to be doing something that in GVDS 4 was really popular, where people could submit their own challenges. We didn't do that for 5 for logistical reasons, but I think there was enough where's my ability to choose my challenge in October, that we're going to be bringing it back for this one. In terms of the timeline for this, we're starting in April, and it's very similar to what we did in October, where the first week is going to be having the teams get to know one another through something we use called a team canvas. We'll start prototyping if people want to try that to validate and invalidate their ideas in the marketplace. Week 2 is going to be about a lot of the activities that normally predate a design sprint. So you have subject matter expert interviews. Maybe you'll have some problem framing that you do. If you're into data analytics or market research, that would be incorporated in that week. But basically, we would sanction some time for that in the second week. Third week is pretty much when the design sprint happens. So that'll be the most intense week. Now, I will caveat this by saying you don't have to take a week off from work to make this happen. Usually, before we even get started with the GVDS, we figure out when people are available offline or when people are available online, in conjunction with their regular day job, with their offline commitments to their family and friends, so that this event can work with them. So depending on when people are available, we'll find other practitioners and professionals and figure out when they're aligned, when the schedule is aligned, and kind of make sure that within the teams that we construct, that everyone has some bandwidth to kind of get together online to work things out. I will also say that when we do virtual design sprints, it isn't like physical design sprints where everyone's in the room for 6 hours straight. They're not online for 6 hours straight, because that would kill me just thinking about it. It's essentially a smaller period of time online, more time offline for asynchronous work The online time is sanctioned for some discussion, some in-person discussion, but largely for decision-making and small exercises that would move the needle forward in terms of both understanding and pressing forward with kind of constructing a solution to a challenge. And then finally, in the last week, we showcase what teams have been doing. Since I'm very much in the social media marketing, we do a lot of social media work in terms of promoting not only people, but their teams and their challenges for people to look at. We go after, if we've done our due diligence with subject matter experts, we ping them to say, like, who do you know would be interested in kind of viewing this? So that even if it's live, they can still see it on a recording later on. And then we also do something called the Spotlight Awards, where teams can nominate their colleagues for their efforts. And this is something that we showcase on the website. So this is all these individuals basically are recorded for their work. There's awards that go out on LinkedIn and other places. So it's a way for kind of promoting their professional brand, but recognizing the effort that they put into the entire month. Also, we started this in GVDS 5, is that we have little banners that we give out for participation, especially for people that finish the full week. The first demo of that actually is coming out this week. We're going to be giving a couple of individuals a test drive to kind of put those into their profiles on LinkedIn to see what they're like. So that'll be also for GVDS 6. Now, in terms of time commitment, I mentioned this before. This gets a little bit more granular into what this looks like. Usually for the first week, there's a 2-hour kickoff session. And then if you want to do prototyping, there's something called the Dash that I promote. That's the combination of that experimental prototyping or the pretend prototyping, and I forgot. But there's other things that are going on for that 4 hours where you're going to test the market. 3 to 5 hours of preparation that second week. So there's still going to be, it's a little bit of time, but it's ramping up. And then 20+ hours for that actual week 3. So that's where you're going to have to kind of figure out in your own schedule where it's going to work. But usually that's what I see teams spending time on for that amount. And then for week 4, it's 5 to 10 hours to showcase prep and the coordination. And again, it is optional, but relatively speaking, throughout the entire month, you're averaging about 40 to 45 hours. So that's going to be a bit of a commitment, but that's the whole point, is that it's meant to be a commitment to not only the team, but also to learn in this environment and really be able to put something that you can take away from the event beyond a banner on LinkedIn, something you can basically showcase to others that this is what I do best. This is how I work with others. This is the reason why you should hire me, or this is the reason why we should have a conversation. All of that comes into the mix usually when it comes to the GVDS for many individuals. Then finally, in terms of the cost, I put these up here not to basically say, okay, this is what it's going to basically come out of it, but I wanted to showcase that we do have different price points based on the participants' history with the event, as well as when they sign up. So if you're a previous award winner, like Best of the Best or Most Valuable Practitioner, then they're at the lowest pricing tier, meaning that we want them to come back to basically be part of the event year after year if they're willing to do so. For people that just basically be part of the events that have gone through the GVDS in the past, or there are people that have gone through the GVDS and they have referrals as well as students, then it's a pretty hefty discount off the regular entry fee. And then we have early bird pricing happening right now. That's going to be promoted this week until January 31st. And then finally, there's the discount rate for partner events after that fact. So if we partner with other organizations for their challenges, then this would be a slight discount off the regular entry fee. But all of this basically goes into how we kind of reward the loyalty that we've had in the past from people that are part of this event, and don't see them as just a way of basically making money. Because I'll tell you something, that in the third GVDS, which was free, we had over 500 people sign up and 150 participants. Logistically, it was crazy to try to manage all of that. In fact, I had so many sleepless nights. I was probably the worst sleep deprivation I've had in quite a while, that I'm in recent memory. And beyond it being what my wife would say, a very expensive hobby, I needed to be able to have some way to validate it to the family around what I was doing. So I experimented with costs at a lower cost rate in GVDS 4, and then basically just made it what you're seeing in 5, and continuing on with the same price points throughout. So This isn't something where I'm planning to be, it's going to be a $700 entry fee. It's nothing like that. This is basically to justify me doing it in the first place with a lot of people that depend on me and my time, whether it's my own family or other people. So want to make sure that that's understood. This is not a revenue play. This is to sustain it so that I can continue to do it for other people, and I can basically make it palpable for the people that depend on me. One thing I will mention is that a lot of people, for the pandemic and for other reasons, maybe going through financial hardships. We had a handful of people in the last GVDS that wanted to do delayed payments, meaning they don't pay anything at all when they first start, but the promise to pay comes into play until we do the next GVDS, which may be September 2021. So it'll be like about 5 months after this. And that's the reason is because I know that every situation is different. And especially for people that haven't been in work for 2 years, or they're suffering from huge medical costs because of whatever is happening with the pandemic. There's all sorts of situations that go into this. So I don't promote it, but it is something to consider if you're in a situation where you just don't have anything, but you know that eventually it's going to get better. It's just that right now you can't, and you really want to be part of this. So there is that option. And I think, and there's a couple other things. So the community of practice is what I mentioned before, is what we start up in December. And I probably should have started this way early. But when you have the access to the mural through the link I had put in here, all of these are clickable. So these are all people that were active last month with the December community of practice, with planning some events that we were doing. If you click on any of those, you can kind of see their profile and see who they're all about. And on many of them, I think all of them have been part of the Global Virtual Design Sprint in the past. So you can get a flavor for the type of people that come to this, the type of people that you may meet in your teams. And I can vouch for a lot of them. In fact, I can tell you that Lisa Weinsberger in particular was our most valuable practitioner back in October. Based on what other people said about her on her team and the kind of effort she put in. I was another person that was best of the best. America is amazing at doing research. So I know a lot about these individuals based on their involvement with the community of practice. And I could tell anyone pretty much a 30-second intro to most of them. But if you want to check them out for yourself and see what they're all about, this will give you an idea of who you may meet in not only the community of practice, but also the GVDSs that we do in the future. Now, if you want to get involved with the community of practice, the only thing I have to offer right now is pretty much a Slack channel link, as well as a mailing list, which is pretty much me putting everybody's email address in the BCC of an email, since I don't really have them in a system yet. But if you want to get updated or involved on any of the events that we put on every month, you're more than welcome to do so. And hang on, I have to stop a call coming in. Finally, in the link that you have, if you want to, you can go ahead. Wait a minute, I'll go back since it's not linked. If you want to learn more about the GVDS, there's a whole bunch of different links down here. I mentioned before, there you go. There's the GVDS in Slack. See, I already did the work and I didn't realize it. It was already there. I'm getting ahead of myself thinking that I'm slacking off. I'll point out a few things here. So I'll go in a little bit closer so you can see this without squinting. So everything about the GVDS is here. This is the LinkedIn page we have. Here's the sign up for GVDS 6 if you want to get ahead of the game and basically sign up before the 31st. The website is here that has all the information that we're going to be doing, all the information about the event. If you want to look at the testimonials, you want to see the resources we use. Also, there's some articles that were written before about the GVDS, what participants think about it, the recap that we did with the webinar for Mural a couple of years ago, the announcement that we made back in September, and I think it was August, about the fifth one. It kind of gives you a detail and historical narrative about what the event is all about. The community is basically testimonials. I believe this is supposed to be the Facebook one, so why don't we just go ahead and do this and say, oh, I can't do it. I think I locked it down. Okay, I'll do it later. Oh, wait a minute, can I? Where did that pen go? It's disappearing every time I put my mouse over it. Hang on. Oh, how is that for hideaway? Look, I put it there and nope, disappeared. Hey, Mural, come on, man. I'm in presentation mode. I should be able to get to it. GVDS Showcase, this will show you all of the different events and, so I wouldn't say events, but this shows you all of the work that people have done previous. There was even a showcase. Somebody did an actual video of their experience with working with their team that kind of goes into what this thing all about. This event's all about. They did something called Easy Teach AR. So it's augmented reality tool to basically teach in an online classroom. And then finally down here are examples. So these are actual mural boards if you ever want to take a look at these. This is the team canvas I mentioned before that people can get together and see what that's all about. We use something called a virtual design sprint configurator 3000 to figure out what kind of virtual sprint people want to do. So we offer the ability to do hybrid sprints, and then people can pick and choose the activities they want to do based on their interest and their skill set. This is a problem framing template that we've used in the past to kind of quickly figure out the context of this challenge that people want to get involved with. And then you can see what day one looks like, what an actual team has gone through already for the GVDS. And this is from, I believe, our last event. So you can see how teams have come together and kind of put all their details in, but it can give you an idea of what it's like to basically go through at least the first day of the GVDS. So that is pretty much it for my presentation and for an overview. Hopefully that was informative. I'm going to check the chat and Q&A real fast to see if anything's been put in there really quick. Do bootcamp students count as students? So this question came up last time, and it just depends on what you mean with the definition of bootcamp student. So if it's part of a university extension, like a part of a program, then sure. Where we have to draw the line is if somebody basically signs up for a boot camp online, but it's not part of any academic program, then no, that's where it doesn't kind of fly. Just because we had a few people that were just doing certifications online, but weren't part of an actual academic institution where they were doing, this is part of an extension of what they did. So it probably would be a conversation, to be honest, Kaylee, in terms of like what the situation is and what it's all about to make a evaluation. But in the sign up process, there is something in there that asks specifically for some sort of ID to upload, like something where you can basically take a picture of what you have digitally or otherwise, so that we can validate that the person is a student, just because of the amount of discount that's involved. But again, I can entertain an offline conversation and see where that goes. I'll check YouTube really fast just to see if there's anything there. Nope, I don't believe anyone said anything there as well. I'll check one more time on this side. Okay, fantastic. All right, so if you have any questions at all about what I've gone through here today, the easiest way to get a hold of me, and I'll go to my own profile rather than menus because it's the only one I have kind of detailed. Go. If you want to get a hold of me, the easiest way to do that is just basically find me on LinkedIn. I'm usually active on this every single day. You can do a search for Robert Scrobe on Google, and you can find a lot of my social media connections there. But this is probably the fastest way to connect with me and get a hold of me about what the GVDS is all about. And I had shown it before in the actual mural, but I'll go ahead and do that right now, is the actual website itself. So if you go here, oh, no, this is LinkedIn again. Hang on, this one. So, nope, that's LinkedIn too. Did I put it in there twice? No, I couldn't have. Did I? Or did I just click on the wrong thing? Wait a minute. Hang on, there we go. So the website will have all the information you need beyond what I presented here. You can take a look at anything from the testimonials to the Spotlight Awards. It's pretty much all there. It'll give you an idea of what we're all about and what's coming up in April. So if there aren't any more questions on Zoom and anybody else wants to make a comment on YouTube, we are done. So that did actually make 30 minutes time. I want to thank you for your time and attention, even if it's recorded or live. We'll be doing this again in 2 weeks with any updates that come up. And again, connect with me on LinkedIn if you have anything outstanding or if you want to discuss your particular situation. I'd be more than happy to hear it. Okay? Take care of yourself. Hope you have a good week. And thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Bye.